Hi everyone, my name is Barb Cook, and I'm the creator of the Piece of Cake Expense and Revenue Tracking Tools. These are tools that can be used by any small business owner, whether you're a dog walker, or you provide elder care, or you might be a direct sales professional. These tools can help you to create a sense of calm by keeping track of your expense and revenue on your own. Please be advised that these tools do not replace an accountant. They are to be used in conjunction with an accountant. Please also be advised that the revenue agency for the country that you live in may have specific instructions as to how you should be tracking your expense and revenue. It is your responsibility to ensure that you check with your revenue agency to make sure that you have the correct information. That would be the CRA, Canada Revenue Agency in Canada, or the IRS in the US, or if you're in any other country, then it would be the revenue agency for your country. So again, I'm going to introduce you now to the Piece of Cake Expense and Revenue Tracking Tools. The system I've created is fairly simple. There's 4 steps. There's a shoebox, there's a summary sheet, there's a laptop where I have the tool installed, and there's an expanding file folder. At the end of each day, I put my receipts into a shoebox. At the end of each month, I attach the summary sheets. Then I enter the information into my computer, and I file the receipts accordingly. The summary sheet blown up looks like this. I attach one of these expense records to each invoice or receipt that I receive. I enter the date, the vendor, category, the amount total, etc. There are 2 reasons to do this. Number 1, it's much easier for you to do data entry if everything is in the same place, so you have this attached to each receipt. And secondly, today it seems that some of the receipts that we get fade. If you have this record attached to the front of it, you will know what the expense was for and when it was and how much it was for. So again, we fill out one of these for each expense and we attach it, and then we enter the information into our tool in our computer, and then we make a backup of that at the end of each month, and then I file those in my expanding file folder. So let's leap right into how the system works. So when you open the tool, you will see a splash screen, and this is what it looks like. It'll tell you who the tool is registered to, so if you're a registered user, your name will show up here under registered user, and it will also tell you that by clicking on OK, you're agreeing to the terms and conditions. You can find those terms and conditions in the closed Facebook group or on my website at pieceofcaketools.ca. So once you click on OK, again, you're agreeing to the terms and conditions. So once you click on this OK, you're also going to go straight to the instruction screen. And this screen importantly reminds you that this tool does not replace an accountant. I want to make sure that you understand that this tool is to work in conjunction with an accountant. The information that this spits out should be able to help you at tax time. So let's get right into it. There are 3 pages where you do data entry: the data entry expenses, the mileage, and the data entry revenues. Data entry expenses is where most of the things happen, and I've entered some information here just so that I don't have to enter all of it when we're talking. So let's say I'm entering a new expense for the 22nd of July. I put that date in, and I spent $100, and it was on, let's say I had to buy a new printer. I bought the printer at Best Buy because that's where I buy everything, and I put that in under office supplies, and the data is entered. I don't know if you noticed over here, but there was some red happening. I'm going to show you what that is. So let's say I decide that, oh, I forgot to enter an expense from April 16th of 2016. It's not going to let me. I'm only allowed to enter information in the calendar year, the year ending 2008, or December 31st, 2018. So if I enter any other date other than in 2018, I'm going to get an error. So I'm going to retry that. So let's say, okay, it's really 16th of April, 18. You'll see over here that there's a value required and that there's a missing category. Once I enter a value, so say I put in $50, $60, and then I say the category, you'll see that this category is still missing, but then I put in a category of T, you'll see that the red goes away. Those error messages are just there to remind you that you have to make sure that you enter complete sets of data. So we don't need that, so I'm just going to delete that. Anything column headed in blue on any sheet indicates that you're allowed to make changes. So anything in these columns A through G here, you can make entries, and you can change your province, etc. Up here, we have household expenses. This is new. If your accountant says you know what, you can charge 20% of your expenses. 20% of your household expenses are allowable. So I would enter the number 20 here. I personally don't I don't claim my household expenses, but if you were going to, then you would work with an accountant and put this number in. But please be reminded that household expenses and travel expenses, as with everything else, always need to be entered here at 100%. So even if your electric bill was $100 and you're only going to be able to claim 20% of it, you enter $100 here and the $20 will be calculated for you automatically. Please make sure that you let your accountant know that this is how things are working and this is what you've done. The simplest way is to leave it at 100% and then just tell your accountant that it was entered. Leave it at 100% up here and tell your accountant that that's how you entered it. So again, always enter everything here at 100%. Now at the top here in column or in row 9, you'll see that we have 4 different ways where we can sort the data. We can sort by category. So we can see, okay, what expenses have I had this year to date on advertising and promotion? And you'll see those 5 here. And then they'll also obviously be sorted by category as you go down. Then you might want to say, okay, I want to sort by vendor. So how many times have I paid Alarm Force? Well, I paid them January 3rd, 31st, and May 2nd. That doesn't seem right. So I might want to go back and I might want to say, okay, I think I've missed some, so I need to go get those receipts and enter them. Then we have the ability to sort by amount. Sometimes your accountant might say, you know what, I want to know every expense that was over a certain amount. So let's say he said, or she said, I want to know every expense that's over $150. If we sort by amount, we can see that quickly. And we can see that I bought software at Best Buy, I paid my HST, and then my accounting fees were also over $150. Under the Persons Entertained column, you can put in the Persons Entertained, like H&R for me as an organization, or you can put in details. So if I paid my HST directly from my account, I would put that information here. Or if I paid by check, I could enter the check number. Persons Entertained is really just a details column. So the second page where we would enter information is the mileage page. The mileage page, revenue agencies, especially Revenue Canada, expect you to keep a transportation log of your kilometers. So that means every time that you travel for business, you need to log your kilometers somewhere. This sheet is very simple to use. You enter, if on January 1st I drove 100 kilometers for business in this example, on the second 10, on the third 20, I would just enter that information here, and then that would suffice as a log for Revenue Canada for the whole year. In this scenario, what you need to do in order to calculate your actual vehicle expenses is to enter your odometer reading at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, and then to enter your kilometers on a daily basis. Now, your accountant may figure out a different way to do this, but at the end of the day, you're going to need to have this log, and you're going to need to tell them what the percentage is of the kilometers. So this information needs to be captured, and this is the best way to do it. I strongly encourage you to make sure that you track your kilometers on a daily basis. It's very important. And the last page where we do data entry is the data entry revenues page. So in this example, anything again in blue, that's where you can enter your data. And I've added 5 different alternate revenue streams that you can add yourself. So for example, if I want this to say referrals, I can just update it. Oops, referrals. And let's say I had another referral in May for $400. Then I would be able to enter that information. Anything again in any of these cells here can be entered. If you have a discount to enter, please make sure that you enter that value as a negative. So this is where your revenues would be entered. So the information entered on your data entry for expenses, your mileage, and your data entry revenues will be summarized in your results page, and the summary of the expenses will be summarized separately in the summary expenses page, which you'll see here. And this typically should be the only page that you need to give an accountant at tax time. Again, these categories could be different based on your revenue agency. You'll need to make sure you work with an accountant and look at the regulations for your country, but this is how it is set up today. Based on the categories that I have set up on the data entry expenses page, you'll see the information separated. So for example, office supplies, the total for the year is $514.53, and in the first quarter it was $414.53. You'll see the information displayed by month, by quarter, and annually. And again, this should be all that you need to provide to an And then the important page at the end for you is to really see, am I making money on a monthly basis? And this sheet should tell you. So for example, in this scenario, anything that's black, that means that the person had, or the business had made money that month. Anything that shows up red says you're in the red. So maybe there weren't any revenues in July of 18. Hopefully they are, and hopefully this is all in black at the end of the day. So again, this is just more for your information. Your accountant is really going to want to see this expense summary. That's going to be the key. And of course, your revenue. So again, this is the Piece of Cake expense and revenue tracking tools system. I've created it. My name is Barb Cook. And if you have any questions or you'd like to make a purchase, please contact me at cook.barb@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.